Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey Rohin, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, bro. What's up?
Very good. Yeah, we should be live in like 10 seconds. I think there's a 20-second lag. Um, so yeah, we should be live soon
Yeah,
in the group.
I guess it's all good now.
Yeah. What's the time in US at the moment? Nearly 9 o'clock, so there should be plenty of guys, awake, depending on which side of US they are. I think most of our
All right.
other people should be live as well. Hey guys, we're live. Just give us a thumbs up, say hello so that we know you guys are watching, just to make sure we're not talking to ourselves. All right. Pratik says hi. Hi, Pratik. How are you?
All right. So I probably need to go and refresh my browser because I definitely have got a lag at the moment.
Yeah, there seems to be like 10 to 15 seconds lag. So, yeah, we'll just give it some time, let people
Yep. Hey,
log in. And
hey, Pratik, what's up, man? Good to see you here. And yeah, so pretty exciting session. Sorry about that. We didn't get much time in the past few weeks to actually come online, throw in some kind of video, or even interacting much with the community up here. So sorry about that once again. It's just few agency stuff which we are trying to actually scale it up to the next level. So some big projects we have been working on, and some lead gen stuff too. So yes, that's that's a bit of a story about us at the moment. What's
yeah,
going on in our world. Ravi, what's your plan? What's been happening?
yeah, I mean, same old, might just been trying to scale and, trying to manage time between clients, home, kids, lockdown, and everything else. So Melbourne's in lockdown still. Hopefully, we'll come out of it in on Sunday. There should be some good news, but we can't travel. We can't go past 5 kilometers at the moment. So yeah, it's not ideal, but look, it is what it is. We're trying to stay safe and staying at home and just trying to work. Um, I think the last time we went online or went live, we were around 900 members. We're close to we passed 1600 members by now, which is very good news. There's a lot of community engagement and a lot of people joining us.
Uh,
So we should try and do more sessions like this in the coming
um,
days.
can you just check on me, like, are we live already? Because I just saw this message up here. The live has been ended, so I'm not really sure about it because I can
Okay.
really see much live of there too. So can you check it out in the group, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm just checking. I can't see it in there, Rohin, actually. So can you try to go live again?
Okay,
It's not showing up in the group.
it's not showing in the group.
No. Maybe that's why people are not online.
Yeah.
So we are
So
live on YouTube. Pratik is watching us on YouTube.
can you throw in the YouTube URL in the chat, please? So I probably need to copy that URL and put it in the group itself. So I don't know why, because
I
it's
think we
it's
take the
showing
option.
me that we are live up there in groups, but yeah. How about now? I think it probably be working. Should be working now.
I can quickly check.
Whew, technology.
Doo-doo-doo. Okay. Yep. Now it's live. All good.
All right. So great. All right. So
That's the
now,
reason
sorry
there weren't many people yet.
for glitch. All right, Ravi, just carry on, man.
Thanks, Pratik. Yeah, it's
Pratik.
visible in the group now. So yeah, look, just introductions again because yeah, we thought people are live, but they weren't. We just went live. So yeah, look, yeah, our community has grown from like 900 members last time we went online to like 1600 members at the moment, which is really good, and we are getting a lot of engagement coming in now, and we just need to keep that going, and try. to keep the spam away from the group. A lot of people have been reporting a lot of spam, so thank you guys. We've been removing those posts and even blocking the members. We try to keep stuff clean. There's no harm in asking for recommendation about services, and then people can by all means pitch their services and everything. But we just don't encourage people to just go about adding, selling stuff and adding their services. We're not a buy and sell group. We are SEO discussion group and stuff like that. So let's keep it to that. Um, all right, we got a question already. Yeah, we'll come back to that. My question for you: is it good to add keywords into your GMB name?
I've already covered this particular topic in the presentation as well, so we definitely go through it
Yep.
and answer that because I have faced few things just adding the keywords in the past, so I'll share that experience too. Definitely, they're gonna be an exciting one, and I'll definitely share some insight with you
Yeah.
with everyone up here. All right, so
So just yeah, quickly, we're talking about GMB today, and Rohin's going to be doing most of the talk. I'll be just pitching in here and there where possible because Rohin's worked on this presentation, and I'm just here to support him. So we'll give the mic to Rohin and let him start his presentation, and then we need to talk about some questions afterwards and share some learnings because GMB is something. It's more of an uncharted territory. There's no one really good expert in GMB out there, which I've seen. I mean, there are a lot of people who know really good stuff about GMB, but no one's got all the tools in the arsenal. When it comes to SEO, it's quite easy to do audits and stuff like that. Whereas GMB is a little bit different. I know a few guys like Local Vikings, Mark, we know Mark, and Srinath, he's developed a tool as well. So there are few tools out there, and those guys have got more knowledge out there because they've been testing into these hot waters. So maybe we can get them online, at some point, and they can share some of their learnings as well. But I'll hand it over to Rohin, and Rohin's going to go through, take it to the basics, and make sure he covers, what is the bare minimum that's required to have a GMB ranking. So it's all you, mate. Go for it.
yeah, no worries. So we got like Vin said up here. Vin said, "How's things, bro?" And Suraj is up here too. And David definitely are gonna cover this particular topic, the one which you have asked. Like, do we need to add the keywords in the GMB name or not? So, all right, let's get started. Let's start from the basics. And be based on my experience, probably be maybe you guys should be having a little more experience than us. That based on experience, what we have gained and working on so many GMB listings, local SEO kind of stuff for the agency, myself and Ravi will try to put it on as best as we can. So yeah, just we're just open for that. So I'm just going to share my screen now. And all right, so that's me, and that's my screen. Let me know if you guys are able to see my presentation.
Yep, I can see it. So maybe just make it full screen or something.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll do full screen this one, and that's it. All good now?
Yeah, looking good.
Okay, so GMB domination, how we need to go and do it, and I'll tell you probably this all these slides gonna cover probably like 90% of the stuff. Maybe there is some 10% of stuff which includes some kind of like a black hat techniques and all that, which we don't really do it because we 90% of the time we work on the client GMBs, and it's not really good all the time to do it because GMB can actually get suspended because of some IP drama. So we never do it. We are good to actually get the results working on this 90% of the stuff, and it works for us. And there is no hard rule for it. You just keep on following that. You're gonna see the success all by yourself. So what we are going to cover once again, sorry, the basics is Rohindua myself. I'm with my partner Ravi Chauhan, and basically the company itself is Traffic Valley. It's a Melbourne based company. So let's get started. So what we are going to cover today, like how to add your business to GMB. Pretty easy is that, because the all those bracket kind of stuff, like phone verification or instant verification kind of things has gone now. Google has already slammed everything, and then it is basic, but we will try to cover for all those ones which who doesn't actually know about it. It's a very great tool. It's a GMB is a lead generation tool, if you know how to use it properly. All right. So, how Google Map rankings actually work, on what factors of map rankings actually work. So, this is what we're going to cover, and how Google Map works with GMB. So, GMB and Google Maps, they are two different things in itself. A lot of people do get confused, like, or maybe Google Maps and GMB is the same thing, which is not the case. So, they both are different. And Google Map is more kind of basically an online mapping service, which Google has actually released for the people like me and you, who can actually go, and if I have to go somewhere, I'm probably going to put it on. I'm going to get the directions, and we will start following those directions to reach our destination. Whereas the GMB is more kind of a database of businesses. So it's they're two different things. So this is where a person like who has got a brick and mortar store or any kind of store, even the services, they can go and register their GMB. So yeah, we should not get confused between both of them. They're two different things. Is GMB, Google My Listing, necessary to register on Google Maps? That's something we're going to talk about too, how to optimize your GMB listing for Google Maps. So this is one of a slide where most of the stuff is sitting, and I'm probably going to cover some of the little hacks kind of thing too, which you can use, and you're going to see a good benefit out of it too. How having a website influences your Google Map rankings. So that's we're gonna cover how we need to marry good GMB with our local website. So they both have to marry together so that we can get the desired results which we are looking for. Super important topic again. Embed a Google Map on the website and tracking your Google Map rankings, how we can go and track them. So let's get started. How to add your business to a GMB? Pretty straightforward. We need to go to, there are two different ways. The one is basically you can go to business.google.com, and you can simply go and add a new location and start adding it that way. That's one of our different thing. So a person who is actually working from outside, you can go and you can use another way as well. So let's say if I'm going up here, so either google.com dot slash maps, that's where I'll go. I'll throw in my main keyword. So let's say it's Rohin Cairo chiropractor, for example, if I have a chiropractor something. So we need to search it, and then we need to just go about it. It can be location or whatever the things it can be, and then we need to start filling out all those information. So let's say if I'm a one, I don't really get it, because we normally work on client side. So what I normally do is, no, that's tricky. um, all right, so where that option has gone now, because that's a one. All right, guys, I don't know where the option has actually gone now, because there was an option where they actually asked us like how we can go and add the in GMB to our website, and then at the bottom there is a missing place kind of a link where we can go and usually click on it. So if anyone knows about it, just throw it in the comments. So I definitely don't know where that thing has gone. um, Probably add missing lead to database, sorry. Add missing place to Google Maps, that's where I normally kick in, and this is where it usually asks me. It's a weird method, I know, because usually in the past they used to show it straight away, like, all right, if you have to go it, just go and add the details. So now we need to go and add all this information. If you already see your website name up here and all these places, you can always go and claim this Google business as well. So how the Google claim the business and adding a new one actually work? Google has got like different kind of aggregators. Their bots do actually go and crawl all these big aggregator sites, and they at the same time they crawl all those different kind of directory sites, that kind of stuff too. And this is how they register the stuff on their websites, but we need to go and claim that. So it's very much important that to get listed in Google Maps, we can follow this method. But if you want to actually go with a proper GMB, then I'll probably say then the business.google.com is the best approach for that. So business.google.com is one of the best approach for it. But if you got want to go it from outside, you can definitely go and claim your business via that too. Condition that the Google Maps, sorry, this Google has actually used the aggregators to take the feed of your site too. So then only it can actually work. Yes, you can actually add any kind of like online stores as well. So that is possible, And all right, so what are the different ranking factors on which the whole thing actually works? So as per the best of my knowledge, there are three ranking factors on this Google Map rankings actually work. The first one is a relevance, distance, and prominence. So when I say relevance, that's the most important factor, because we always say the best way to rank in Google is to think like Google. What the Google actually want, Google's main perspective is not to actually give you any kind of sales to your store or to your services. It's their main perspective is to actually go and give the best results to the users who are searching for it, because this is whole their complete business model actually work. So and this is where the relevance factor gonna work. So relevance say is your business needs to be relevant, which makes sense that the business needs to be relevant to search for that particular query. Otherwise there is no meaning of that. Definitely we are not going to rank a chiropractor one for a law query. So it has to be relevancy. So relevancy is the very first thing. Distance obviously is because this is where the proximity signals actually work. So Google proximity algorithm says like the person who is closest to that particular location and to the user query as well. So let's say I'm going to New York and I'm going to type in from there. They're going to understand from my IP which is the closest to that particular place, which is the closest place to that person. So they will give the closest business will get the first priority, and then the next after that, the B, C, D, F, they will get the next priorities after that. And this is how the Google results from top to bottom actually work. This is how they work. They go from top to bottom, and they see it on the left hand side. But the very first one actually goes on the proximity signal. So why we are doing all the citations and that kind of stuff, that is all the proximity signals we are generating, and we're going to talk about it in the next slide as well. And then it's a prominence. Prominence works on because people used to spam Google. They used to do the things like overnight listings, get them ranked, start getting the leads, and people they're calling, and the things doesn't work. Or else you list out your business as a 24/7, whereas you work in 9 to 5 only. And then what happened that people they start calling you and leaving negative reviews in case you doesn't work for them. So these kind of things were very common past in the days, and this is when the Google prominence algorithm actually triggered in. So they're saying how well known your business is. That way the Google gonna understand, is it really worth to actually get that person on the top of Google searches or not, in Google Maps or not. So this is something. So we will talk about all these ones in the next slide. So the main thing, like I already said, the ultimate goal is not to help the businesses boost their sales and everything. This is all about helping users to find the best results they want. All right. So factor number one is the relevance. So like I already said, if I want to rank for SEO in Melbourne, I should be having an SEO agency to rank in that. I cannot be a lawyer. I cannot be anything else. So relevancy is the most important thing. And that's exactly makes sense too. We want the relevant results. So what are the do's and don'ts? And that's where I'm going to answer this question of David as well. So do include the right primary and secondary categories to the map listings. That's very important. Your primary and secondary categories makes a lot of sense. When I go and in fact in our agency, when we go and do any kind of like working on new listings, we always go and check it out if the primary and secondary categories are right or not. So what we do is what the kind of categories the competitors has actually used, and then based on that we figure out, all right, these are the primary and secondary categories we have to go with. But don't change your primary categories too often, because they're gonna trigger and they're gonna suspend your GMB. We have seen these things in the past, so don't do that kind of mistake. don't log in from different IPs too often as well, because Google is a bitch. I mean, like they try to do all this IP dramas kind of a thing all the time. So we have to make sure, like, do not change any primary categories. Once you do it, probably leave it for some time, and then if you have to go and do it, then and do it. But if you're trying to change it like every single day, you look at some results and you say, all right, I should go and change it. No, don't do that. Secondary is still okay, you can go and change it. We have seen, like, even if changing the secondary categories or adding or subtracting the categories, I mean, like every second or third day, that still work. We haven't seen any kind of suspensions that way. So that's still not a problem. So get it added to that. You're gonna get the postcard. Go, and postcard is the only method which is actually working these days. Virtual offices is the one, but again, Google doesn't like that too. But yes, if you know someone who is happy to take your postcard in XYZ city where you are planning to open a lead gen site, yes, you can always do it. So so that's a way what we do it. So we probably, and then don't add keywords to the business, David. No, don't do that, because generally you can, yes, go, you can do it, because obviously you are the one who is going to create that listing, but Google doesn't like it. We have seen in the past few GMBs got suspended too, where we used, I mean, like our business name is different, but we added the keywords next to that too, because we try to do a lot of testing time to time. So we did it. What we have seen is some of the listings among those actually got penalized, and Google actually suspended those listings. So we got a lesson that no, we don't have to do it. So let's try to keep our NAP all the same, no matter if it's going in the press releases, no matter if it's going in the web 2.0 or anywhere else. We should keep it same, and do not actually try to add the keywords kind of stuff. Now, no, I never recommend that. You probably can give it a pass. You probably can try to add it, but it might work for you. It never worked for us, I say.
Yeah, and I think one of the points to mention here is that we are talking purely white hat here, right? So a lot of times, if you have a rank and rent and those kind of listings, which which you can dispose of at some point, or you don't mind losing them, then by all means, yeah, you can add the keywords. Like if you are, if you are, like, let's say, injury lawyer, you can have, injury lawyer today or something like that, injury lawyer soon, or quick injury lawyers kind of listings, and they will work to some degree. But again, it's a disaster waiting to happen. It may not never happen, but if people start flagging those listings, and Google tries to verify against your business name, and they find discrepancies, then there is a very good chance you will get suspended. So let's say we've got Search Combat and Traffic Valley. We can't go and start putting Search Combat SEO agency and stuff like that in there. My GMB says Search Combat, so we try to play safe with our assets which we want for long-term basis. But again, you can do it if you have short-term assets, rank and rent kind of methods, because those GMBs are purely based on these keywords. So you can do that; they will work, but they can get suspended. I think that's what
Yeah,
Goin is trying to say.
yeah,
We're talking purely white hat here. So
that's
yeah.
exactly right. There's no doubt about that, and I must say about it that any GMBs with the keywords do rank better as compared to the GMBs with no keyword or a brand kind of thing. Yes, they do rank better. The CTR is obviously better too, but at the same time, we are taking a risk along with us too. So if you are preparing any kind of like a disposable GMBs, you can take that kind of risk if you really want for a quick leads and all that. But if you are actually trying to build a long-term asset, then probably give it a pass. Don't add the
That's
keywords.
correct.
We haven't seen very good things out of it. So if you are actually in the remote, working with the remote IPs, I mean, like for example, you've got a remote team working in different part of the world, then probably try to give them a single IP. Maybe you can buy a static IP which can last for like 12 months or so, and put everything behind one single IP, because we have seen that sometimes working on a different IPs to actually suspend the GMPs too. So whenever we are going and doing any kind of like a GMB post, that kind of thing, we always try to do it using some kind of social syndication platforms. So we never ask our team to actually go and start adding the post from their IPs. So that's something what we do. So relevance, once again, very important factor, and we need to understand what Google wants to see. It should be relevant. That's all it is. And then the next slide is distance factor in map results. We have already spoken about it, that the distance factor is one of thing which is in your control. So relevancy is in your control. Distance factor is in your control too, because like if you want to rank, this is how much the area I need to cover. If it's a service based, then you need to mention out what kind of suburbs I'm going to area. So inside the GMB, you have got there is add service area option too, where you can go and add your services and you can add the pricing, that kind of stuff too. So do mention it out, because those distance factor gonna play an important role into it too. So once again, Google will give the best based on the proximity signals. They will give the best results to someone. So position A will go to the person who is very close to the IP from where the user is actually searching. So you cannot control 100% or everything. Then this is where the GMB optimization actually differentiate from the other one, from the website optimization. Because when you are in the website optimization, you are pretty much trying to do everything all by taking consideration. You can actually rank for national results as well, for local results, statewide. But when it comes to GMB, Google is a clever machine. They know like, oh, all right, the user is somewhere up here, and this is kind of results, and this is a business, I need to put it on the top. So obviously the factor 1 and factor 2 and the factor 3, which we are going to in the next slide, gonna marry together. So they all talk to each other to get the best results they can show it to the person. So this is how they do it. And then the second and third depends on how far or those that businesses are from as compared to basically business A. So factor 3 is prominence factor. So prominence factor is all about how well known your business is. So let's say if person is typing in coffee, or if you're typing in restaurant. So if they're typing in coffee in some place, and then obviously the Google gonna show some kind of like a popular places. So popular places, they're gonna show it first, like Starbucks. So that kind of, you're probably gonna notice that those places do get the priority as compared to the other one. So the prominence actually works on different things. The prominence works on how many reviews you have got. So the number of reviews, the rating of those reviews, no matter how many reviews you have got, but the ratings of those reviews, if they are below, I mean, like say 3% or 3.5, obviously the second person, even with the less reviews, will take the priority. This is how what we have seen. So your backlinks, how the backlinks are coming into to your basically business. They even check the attributes as well. They go and check it out, what kind of how popular the business is. So this is where they take in consideration the main website as well. They go and read the page, and then they understand that way that what actually works for it, and is it really worth showing this particular business for this query up here. So let's say now we are saying, now comes the prominence, the most difficult factor. This is one of a factor which is very hard, and this is not in our control all the time, because obviously you cannot control reviews the people are leaving. You can only give them some kind of interest. You can tell them, all right, give us a review, you'll get this kind of coupon in next time, or maybe anything else like kind of a bribe you can give it. But again, you cannot control it all the time. So this one Google documentation claims the prominence is based on how well known the business is, both online and offline. So these are the two main pointers which we are saying. What is the contributor for those prominence factor? The contributor is the website web results. So if you are on page 10 and you're thinking like you're gonna get the page 1 rankings, in position one ranking or position two or something like that in Google Maps, that probably won't gonna happen, because we have seen you need to be at least on page two or three if you really want to get the page one. In old days, I remember a few years ago when the Google Map rankings were only going to the people who were on the page one. Then the Google actually changed few things, because we know to rank in Google Maps, you don't really need a website. So website is not really mandatory. That's one thing you need to make sure. Websites are not mandatory. You can actually create a business site as well. You can optimize your GMB properly, and that way you can get the results too. So that all depends on a few different factors, and all these factors we're gonna cover in our optimize GMB optimization thing. So there are two things main is a prominence, native factor, website quality, and we have already mentioned that is ratings should be very good if we want to see the results kind of thing up there in Google Maps. So how Google Maps work with Google My Business, we already mentioned, like as I mentioned up here, that it's not really mandatory. You can actually you can be on the page two or three as well to get it ranked on Google Maps. But Google Maps is a directory of businesses, and Google is an online mapping service, and Google Maps GMB is a directory of services. They're two separate things in itself. All right, so the most important slide which we are going to talk now, how to optimize your GMB listing for Google Maps, because I know that this is what a lot of people do get confused. We have got services kind of thing for Google optimization as well. So let's jump in and let's see. And the best way, like I always say, to rank in Google is to think like Google, and that's what we need to do. It. Don't stress to add your keywords to a GMB description, because I've seen that in the past too, even without any GMB description. So even if you put it down like a small paragraph kind of thing in GMB description, rather than using their whole 750 words, I think you can still survive. I mean, like because Google doesn't really crawl this GMB description as the best what we have seen. So don't try to actually focus too much, because adding too many keywords in your GMB description can actually suspend your GMB as well. So just try to keep a balance. That's all I'm saying. Just try to keep a balance. Never add any incorrect operating hours. Reason being, because if that probably gonna leave you any kind of like a negative reviews. Obviously, the negative reviews gonna trigger those prominence factor, which is the third one, and gonna kick you out of the snapback ranking. So it's not really a very good practice. So always try to get there are plenty of places you can get the paid GMB reviews too. There are a few places on Legit where you can, even on Fiverr, you can go and you can take some paid ones too. But the genuine one, obviously, that's something we all need. So genuine is something what we need. So optimize your listing for NAP, which include name, address, phone number. Make sure it is a GMB. So all right. So let's say GMB when we get any new project on board. That's the very first thing we do as a part of an audit. We always try to make sure like the website address, GMB address, and the structured schema address, do they all same or not? Are they all same? Once that thing is done, then the second thing what we do is we try to see like the citations, have they used the same kind of address or not? So what we are trying to see up here is a NAP consistency. So we need to see like if the NAP is same everywhere, even on press release. It should be same, or even on Web 2.0 profiles as well. So let's say if I got a website which is like where we got an office in Melbourne, there is another one office in Sydney, then there is an SEO agency office in Perth. I'm probably gonna go and create like a different GMBs for that, because I know, and that's where the factor two, distance, proximity is. If you are thinking that one single GMB, which is your registered address for the Melbourne, gonna get you ranked, I mean like in Perth and even in Sydney as well, that's not going to happen. It is not going to happen at all. You need to create like a separate page on your website for SEO agency Sydney, SEO agency Melbourne. Obviously, that's what we do all the time. So it's pretty common practice. But at the same time, we have to go and cover the build a separate GMBs as well. So for Sydney page, it should be linking to the Sydney GMB. So when we go and see the GMB, we see there is a URL. So I think in one of our GMB we did mention there was a URL. So that URL has to be same as yours. So this URL, if I decide that this URL should be the Sydney page, so it should be trafficvalley.com.au/Sydney. We cannot put trafficvalley.com.au up here. And even for Melbourne, even for Perth, we have to put the page where we are directing the people to click and go over there. So those pages and this GMB has to marry together. So whatever the address, Sydney office address you have got on the Sydney page, that has to be on your Melbourne page. The citations you are making, the citations will be different for the Melbourne page. The citations will be different for the Sydney page. We are not. You should not be doing like citations. You build it for the home page only, taking consideration that your main office is in Melbourne. No, you should be building like city level citations as well, and that's pretty much for every NAP thing we do it. So it has to be different, guys. And then if you're operating for the business, make sure the NAP as a service area. Now this is a service area is another common practice. So a lot of people sometimes don't really use it properly. So inside the map, you go to the info on the very left hand side. There is a add services, and this is where you can go and start adding the services and the pricing next to them as well. So add as many services what you are offering, start adding them, because eventually that's going to help you to rank better in Google Maps. So that's something you need to do it, and then based on that properly embed we have to take and put that embed on your page. So if I am going it's easy if I make it this way, that if I am going to, let's say if I've got like a trafficvalley.com.au/Sydney, then I've got a separate page on my website. I've got a separate GMB for Sydney as well, where I'm listing out my services and all that. Then what I'll do is I'll go to my page. So I'll go up here. I'll go to this share. I'll go to map embed, this particular map embed, and I'll put it on my website, on my web page for the Sydney page, embedding the same Sydney GMB map I'm putting on my Sydney page as well. This is just a way that telling Google when they're gonna come and crawl the website and page, and they're gonna see the embed map over there. We're just trying with all the citations, with GMBs, with Google My Listings, even with the citations, press release, everything. What we are trying to tell Google that yes, I'm a real business and I live in this area, so help me rank better for this longitude and latitude. And this is what we're probably going to do using all these different techniques. And then
I think the other thing, one last thing was
yeah,
on the page on your website, make sure you have a page level schema as well
yeah,
with the different NAP, name, address, phone number, which is linked back to that Sydney, GMB, for example. So for your website address might be different, your phone number could be same, but your longitude, latitude, and all those stuff will be different. So make sure you have a different schema to the city level pages, which is different to your home page, which could be like in our case it's Melbourne. So that's another proximity signal to tell Google via the structured data that we have a different listing. This is the phone number, address, and longitude, latitude, and whatnot. So that helps as well, along with the map embed with Rohin just mentioned.
yes, exactly right. And even we can go a step further, and what we can do is we can actually give a directional map that how a person gonna come from Melbourne airport to our office. So we're gonna create a driving direction map, and we will embed that map on our website. It's super simple to do it. So what you need to do is just go up here. Forget about this one. So let's go to direction, and in this direction I'm saying I want to come from whatever the airport is. So I don't know, I haven't checked what particular location was this one, but let's say whichever the airport is, I want to come up here, and then that way they're gonna create the driving direction map, and just go and add that map in your in your Sydney webpage or a Melbourne webpage or whichever the GMB it is, so that it's just a different voice. We are telling Google, all right, we live here. If you want to come from this place, we live here. If you want to come from any point of interest, we live here. We're just pushing Google. We are throwing out as much information as we could to Google, telling them that we live in this longitude and latitude. This is what we are telling them. I hope that makes sense. All
Yeah.
right.
And
So
we've
there
tried
are
and tested this on a lot of taxi websites in Melbourne, where most of the cabbies they got their websites and they want to do airport runs. So we create different area pages for them, and then we embed driving direction map from that suburb to the airport, Melbourne airport, and we just keep doing that for every page, along with the other stuff which we talked about. So it really helps.
exactly, and there are three different things. But what has worked for us as well is the GMB photos. So GMB photos, just put a habit. If you got a GMB listing and you want to react, there's a lot of impressions coming in for the GMB photos. So yes, start putting in the GMB photos in your GMB listing. So when you go to the GMB listing, on the left hand side there is a photo. Open that particular location, and on left hand side there are photos. Start adding the photos to that. You can add a photos. The second thing what you can do is 360-degree virtual tour. Virtual tour is one of a new thing which is coming in these days. And then ready, I'll definitely cover this question as
Yeah,
soon as I finish.
we'll just cover it.
Yeah, as soon as I finish this particular slide, I'll definitely go and answer any of your questions you have got, and I'll try to explain them as best as I can. I won't take too long. And then the GMB post, like I said, start adding the GMB post into site. When it comes to GMB post, what we need to do is we need to see this point. Start posting regularly, like local keywords, geographical location relevant keywords, like this is a web design company in this, or even your niche relevant keywords in as a GMB post. It can be like the long articles as well, and you're gonna see all by it. So just try and do it and tell us in the comments in the Facebook group. Once you're done, you're gonna see after a month a lot of impressions start gonna coming into your to your GMB listing, and even the calls and leads you're gonna start coming in just adding the GMB photos and GMB posts only. I can bet you for that, because it has we have done a lot of testing on these kind of things. Adding a 360-degree virtual tour video to it. Now the virtual tour video, no doubt about it, it's a costly one. It probably going to cost you like a $500 to $600 to do it. But what you can do is just go to your smartphone, and then download a Street View Android app. So download that app, open the app in your phone, and just take a tour. And the tour, that thing gonna tell you all the directions itself. Move up this way, move up that way, and that way you can create a virtual tour video all for free, and then just download that one and put it on your GMB listing. So do it, these three things apart from the different ones. So it definitely gonna help. So this
Did
third point.
receive a, did receive a tip from Josh Boyton.
All right.
I'm not sure if he's watching, but Josh Boyton used to sell like he sold like 10,000 GMBs over the last 2 3 years, so he knows his stuff. So what he mentioned was when you're doing your posts, make sure you add one of your competitors' URL in that post along with some of the so if let's say I'm in Cranbourne suburb, so I might put the local council's website along with one of the most high ranking website of one of my competitor. And what it does is it leeches off their authority and brings that to your website. It's similar to like you giving an outbound link to Wikipedia from your page, and it helps to build that trust factors and stuff like that. In the same way Josh mentioned, GMB does leeches off these authority of these big websites and stuff. So we tried doing that, and we saw some boost in a few of our GMBs. We don't work too much on our GMBs. We rather work on our websites, but those things do help, and we've checked that as well. That's a handy tip. Yeah.
And it's very hard to do the testings on clients' GMBs. All right. And then it's attributes. Attributes is another very important thing as well. Same as like go to your business.com, business.google.com, and then select the location, whichever the GMB you want to manage. Open that GMB. On the left hand side, you will see an attribute. Attributes comes in like free Wi-Fi, or a continental breakfast, or Italian breakfast, or anything like that, which you think the people can be searching, and Google, if they see the GMB attributes, these attributes in your GMB listing, then they will give you a weightage in ranking of the top. So these are all the different kind of signals which you need to start adding into your website to do it. And again, Google reviews, they Google actually pick it up a lot of attributes from the Google reviews as well. So they do crawl all those Google reviews, and that's to it. So yeah, in case you are purchasing any kind of like paid reviews, just make sure that you actually use tell them to go and start adding some kind of attributes as well. So attributes, like I already said, free Wi-Fi, these kind of things, or better location, these kind of things what you can use too. All right, so next is how to optimize your website. That's now we have covered the GMB portion, how to optimize a GMB listing, and now we're going to cover about how to optimize a website at the same time. Basic stuff I'm not really going to cover because I know you guys already know about all those, how to do keyword search and that kind of thing. So we are pretty much going to talk about the main stuff, which a lot of people we have seen don't really try about it. So it's not necessary to have a website. We have already covered that you can always try the business.site.com as well. So inside your GMB location, you can go and open a business.site.com. Definitely do it, because that's really helpful as well. We do it all the time. I don't know if I missed in the last slide, but yes, business, open up a business site and try to add a rich relevant content, like a proper page, do a proper on page as well. And a lot of times that kind of things do get ranked, especially for the county or the suburb level keywords, they do get ranked too. And then the main motive of having a website is basically it just helps to pass on the geographical and topical relevancy signals to Google. Make sure you optimize the web page as the URL you have mentioned in the GMB listing. We have already covered that. Include local keywords, niche relevant keywords, and link back via driving direction. And this is we have to do it. All right, Randy, you asked about driving direction. So what we need to do is let me just tell you really quickly how that thing actually works. So let's say, let me just go back. All right, let's try to, now this is a chiropractor in New York. Now I know this is in New York now. Go to direction, go and put it like maybe New York airport. I don't know what do we call to New York airport. All right, it looks like
Airport.
this is
Yeah.
John Kennedy is a New York airport. So this is, you're gonna get it. Click on any one of them. This is a driving direction map. Click on any one of them. Like let's say I click on this one. You click on this thing, go to this particular share button, and this is the embed map which you need to pick the code and put it on that particular web page. I hope that makes sense. So
Yeah.
once,
So when you put it on the page, make sure you are in the HTML version.
yeah,
You can't just copy it straight away.
yeah,
So put it
it's
in the HTML version, and then
yeah,
when you revert back to the normal version, you'll see the map pop up there. It's very
exactly.
straightforward.
It's an
Yeah.
iframe, so that's what we need to do it.
I
Even
learned it the hard way. I
so
used to.
there is another thing what we can do is, and I've mentioned in this point, make sure to add geo relevant articles adding to the website, no matter if you add them in the menu or not, because Google actually try to take all these things in consideration. So they want to see how relevant this resource is. So what we normally do is we go and ask the client to add 5 to 6 different type of articles, like best sporting events in Melbourne, best helicopter ride to event, that kind of thing. And in those ones, try to add a different driving direction map coming back to your website, so if I am going to write like 6 articles in my website, I probably won't add them in the menu bar. I'll hide them up. But what I'll do is, in the first one, I'm going to cover from the airport. The other one, what you can do is you can point of interest, New York. Let's say this is the one, point of interest, New York, and then you just go and things to do in New York, and then pick it up all these places. Let's say Statue of Liberty monument. So I'll go up here. I'll tell them I'll tell them that this is the one, Statue of Liberty, monument, that's the one. I'll click up here and I'll go to this map embed, and then I'll go and add this map embed on my article number 1. I'll do the same thing for article number 2. I'll do the same thing for the article number 3. Every time I'll use a different point of interest, because I am telling Google that if you want to reach from Statue of Liberty, this is where my office is. If you want to come from, let's say, airport, this is where my office is. And my longitude and latitudes are same because I am using my GMB listing as the second source. I'm using my GMB listing as a second source. So we're passing all the different kind of signals to Google and telling them. You can always do the same thing in the press releases as well. You can just pick it up like 5 to 6 different map locations, start putting them in the different press release articles, and Randy, you can actually do the same thing in press release too, because it will not harm it. We can add this one, or we can add, if you don't want to add, for example, embed map, because you say like the client actually demand to see their proper GMB map over there, map embed over there, not a problem. What we can do is we can simply go up here, and we can pick this link, and very close to our the thing, we can add a local element like all right, to reach from the Melbourne airport to our office, and our office is situated at this particular address. This is the driving direction you need to follow to reach here, and then follow this link for more details. It's just a different kind of signals. I hope that makes sense, or what I'm really trying to say. So this is what we are saying. We are going to cover like in the off page, and we are going to cover in the on page the different signals. But when it comes to the on page signal, geo-relevant articles is one of them. Definitely we're going to cover this geo-relevant articles in the form of localized map network or geo network in our off-page signal as well, which is our next slide, which is our last slide. And but keeping in point, we have to keep our NAP same. NAP should be same. Add schema level detailed code to your web page rather than just adding a simple plugin based code. Yes, that's another, it's a little technical stuff. Obviously we have started using it. One of our team member has started testing out that code, and we won't take the credit of that code. We learned how to build out that code from Clint Butler. I think is one of a good, he has got a schema level course too. So yeah, kudos to Clint for that. And but what they say is, if we try to do a keyword stuffing in our normal schema, that probably gonna penalize our GMB listing or even our website as well. But we can go and add as many different kind of like keywords, different, we can even put all our press release URLs, even put all our different citation URLs in schema code as well. So it's gonna be a very detailed schema code which we need to prepare it. It's definitely a big time. It probably take like 2 hours to do it, but that way there's a very good chance that all your different property gonna get crawled too, because obviously Google has to crawl your website. They're gonna crawl all the different properties too, and we'll get the best results out of it. So yes, we are testing it. We have seen a good results on some of the sites using the detailed level schema rather than the simple one. So yes, more than happy to actually publish another video, something for that too.
You should make a service out of it.
Yeah, probably a service, I would say. All right, when you add, there are not many people. What I've seen, there are not many people who actually build that kind of schema. I think Suresh is a one, or maybe someone, but it's because it's a detailed level process in itself too. So when you add geo relevant article, make sure to add the geo driving locations. We have already discussed that, and that's all about it, guys. So three things: driving direction, the NAP should be consistent, the same GMB URL and the web page URL should be the same. And the fourth one I've mentioned is the local elements. We should add it. Local elements can go in two different formats. It can go as a separate articles, in like a helicopter ride to New York City, helicopter best restaurants in New York City, or it's best sports events in New York City. And then in every basically article, we should go and add a driving direction map. But in your actual article, this is where we need to leverage the local element as well. What we're going to do is the whole page in the bottom, do a map embed, and above that probably show this is something we actually added in one of our client site the other day too. So I can actually go and show you guys. So website that sells. So David is one of a client, a very good friend of mine. So I hope you won't mind if I'm showing his site. So if I go to Brisbane page, go, if I go all the way down, all right, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about, folks. So we added the nap consistency up here. You can see there is a driving direction from Brisbane City CBD, how we have to come and to the place, and we have embed the map as well. That's another thing. And now this is a beauty. This is where we are saying driving direction. This thing we have interpret that in basically in our text language. So we are saying our Brisbane office is located at this city, again nap. Business office, you can find us on Yelp and True Local, again the authority sites. And we are open from this is driving Monday to Friday. This is this. We are giving our phone number and how you can reach from the near central station to our place. Go to the near central station, turn left, turn right, and all those things, and you're gonna reach our place. I hope that makes sense. It's a very solid example, which you guys can actually see it. I'm probably gonna go and take a screenshot of that one and actually actually throw it in our Facebook group comment as well. So I'm sure that can be helpful.
We'll add it to the file section as well. I think Randy was asking for the presentation, so we'll do it in the file section after this presentation. So yeah.
Sure. So that's another one now. And let's go to the last slide now. So I think that's all the on-page side GMB listing we have already covered. And the last one is the off-page signals. So off-page signals is we have to start with the socials. That's what we normally do when we get any new clients on board. We always start with the with socials kind of stuff like Google Stacks, DAS, or social profiles, citations, because the overall purpose of whole this thing, doing the whole process, is to build a consistent nap. Because the regular stuff everyone is doing, everyone is just optimizing the pages, adding the keywords in the meta title, meta description. So I'm not really going to touch that thing. We are going to talk about the stuff which is actually important. So we're going to do all these things. That way we're going to do all the nap consistency. So Google gonna get all those topical and geographical relevancy signals via that, because we're gonna cover all those like niche relevant articles into it. We're gonna cover in geo articles in this one. And then again the nap will be in every article. Use a GMB CID URL. That's something we are using in our press releases these days, and even in different we are actually pointing the different kind of links like a PBN links or even niche edits or guest postings to this GMB CID URL too. So how you can actually get the GMB CID URL, some of them you already know. There's an extension called Gather Up Google Review Link Generator. So that's an extension. So just go and add that extension to this one. So I've mentioned that extension in the Facebook comment. Then what we need to do is, let's say I am on this so let me just remove this and Google Maps, and let's say we are on again the Cairo, New York. I'll open up the GMB listing. So that's a listing once again. Know my Cairo, that my favorite guy. And then I'll press this URL. Okay, it will generate two different kind of URLs. This is the one what we need. This CID URL, this is what we need. We'll copy this one. Point out your PBN links, point out your GMB, even in your press releases or any kind of properties you're making. Start adding and sending the links to this particular URL. And you're going to see it will boost your GMB listing, because that's the URL for your GMB listing. So it will boost your GMB listing. So rather than using a shortener GMB link, I'm probably going to use this GMB link, which is having my CID ID as well. And then if you are sending out, you are already having an automation series in place, you can just put this link in there and you can tell the person, all right, once the job is complete, tell them to go and leave a review at this particular place. So he will go and leave a review. That is just a way that we can actually provoke the person to start adding it. It probably won't work up here, but if you go or actually it just opens up. So yeah, just let me just give it, because he really helped us a lot. Good work. Thanks. And then just that if they're gonna publish, that gonna help. All right, so that's the thing. And just wrap it up really quickly, guys. Use quality press release. That's press release is definitely a very helpful one. And put your GMB CID URL and your map embeds. You can put it up here. So yes, this is really very helpful. So create hyper themed guest posting. Again, you remember our main idea is to create a topical and geographical relevancy. This is why I said hyper themed guest posting, not a normal guest posting. It should be hyper themed guest posting in which we're gonna put our let's say if we are trying to rank for SEO Melbourne, so I'll make sure my primary keyword SEO Melbourne will be in the main meta title, meta description, in the URL, in the top 100 words, and in close proximity to my anchor text. And in this case, I will use branded anchor text. So this way, the Google gonna crawl the page, and then they're gonna say, all right, the article is very much themed. And a lot of people who are thinking that maybe that URL gonna get ranked to the page one. Now it doesn't happen. Google is smart enough to understand that what is the difference between a proper themed website and just one single article where there are few mentions of SEO Melbourne. So it will not happen at all. In the instance of like almost like 50 plus websites on which we have worked on this one, it never worked for this one. It has helped us to rank better in SERPs, and this is why we have changed our normal guest posting to this one, because obviously it's a paid one. So you can definitely go and ask them to that you want the title to be about SEO Melbourne, and they won't mind, because ultimately by the end these guys just they want dollars. So we can definitely go about it too. And then creating batch geo URLs, GPS listings. Now this is a bit advanced topic. What we can do is there are like TomTom and batchgeo.com. These are different GPS listing sites. If you want, I can throw it in the chat box later on. But what you guys can actually do is start adding your longitude, latitude stuff into that, and that's another way to tell Google that I live in this area. Help me rank better for it. Geotagged images for GMB doesn't work, obviously, because Google just remove all those accept data. But for website, it still work. You can give it a try. I don't know how much weightage this thing has got now, because we never try to test this thing in a way that we can get 100% accurate result for it, but we just do it because we think it's one of easiest way. We have got everything in our SOPs, so we just tell our guys, whenever you go and do it, just make sure that you add the geotagged images. Obviously in some existing site where there are already images and everything, it's sometimes very hard that you need to remove the image, then you have to do it, then have to put it back via server or even via page editor. You can give it a pass or you can do it. That's up to you. I don't know. It probably having a very small weightage in the overall thing. All right. And then it comes to the geo networks. Geo network, again, like I said, initially we added the geo relevant articles with driving direction, map, embeds, and everything in our website, like best sporting events in Melbourne, best restaurants in Melbourne. This time what we are going is we are going to create the social profiles, and we will create these kind of articles. We will put it up there, and with a link back to our GMB CID plus our website as well. So both way the GMB gonna get ranked, and our GMB listing will get ranked too, because eventually these things actually give it a push, overall push to your GMB listings. And then the local event links, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, like you go to Google, you type in add event, let's say Melbourne, you type in this add event Melbourne, and you're probably gonna say add your event to website, submit your listing, something like that. You're probably gonna see a plenty of websites who accept if you are having an event in your city, you can just go and list out your event. Just put it like a future date, maybe like a year from now or maybe 6 months from now, and that way you can actually get those links live at least by that time. But most of the time, I mean, like the people, they don't really care. They just leave it as it is, what we have seen. But that's another way. So all these are has to mix up together with the on-page SEO and GMB optimization. Then this whole combination gonna help you to rank better in SERPs, not just in organic results, even in your Google Maps as well. And that's all about it, guys. I don't know anything else which we should try. Maybe some black hat techniques. Maybe I don't really follow those kind of techniques anymore now. But this is all it is, and trust me, it's most of stuff. This is what most of the stuff is. And if there is anything which is working for you, anything apart from that, do let us know too. Myself, Ravi, we are all ears open to listen you guys with that too. And that's all about it. Thanks, Ravi. And let me just.
Thanks, Rohin. Yeah, I mean, we'll take some questions if you have. Um, I think yeah, everyone wants the presentation, so I'm going to add it.
So what
Uh,
I'll do is I'll maybe Ravi you can, or maybe I can
yeah,
actually
I'll do it now. That's not an issue, mate,
turn on the
and
question
it
one
should
by
be in the
one.
file section.
So as we so David, I've already mentioned like the questions is like, should we add GMB, add the keyword in the GMB name or not? No,
Yes and
you
no.
should not do it unless until you want the overnight results, and next day or maybe in a few weeks time the listing gonna go away. No, I think we should not do it. And
Okay,
online
I've just
store.
added the file.
Ravi, do we do it for online stores? I don't really think so.
Yeah,
We
online stories. I think what he's asking is, if you don't have a physical address to show, by all means you can do that. Like any service-based businesses like locksmith, plumbers, and all, they don't show their businesses on their GMBs. Online store can be similar. You still put the website like an address behind the GMB, but you can hide it. And I mean, I don't know how much it's going to help because most of the online stores are national, targeting national traffic, so they're not looking to just be constrained around one or two suburbs, but you can still show up in the map pack. I don't know. I mean, if I'm searching for Nike shoes, will I see a GMB? Maybe not. So I don't see any value doing that, but you can still do it. You can just hide the address and then keep it as it is, and then make sure you add the address which is behind the GMB in your structured data, which is the schema of your website. Obviously, you can't display the address in the website as such because it's an online store, but you can definitely do it in schema, and then that will be the signal to join the dots for Google that okay, this GMB is listed in this
also
website. That's all I can say.
depends on if we really. I guess it is just a question we need to ask it, that do we really want to get listed and get ranked as well in GMB map for online listing? It's same as like Target.com wants to get listed. Actually, Target.com, they do have a locations kind of stuff too. This is why they want the people to actually walk in and do it. But online store who doesn't have a location as such, I don't know if it's really worth for them to actually get listed on GMB
But
maps.
a lot of times it will like for GMBs only shows up for service-based businesses. If you're looking to buy something, there's it's very unlikely you will see a GMB in the results.
Exactly.
So there's no value.
All right, and then that's even if someone do suggest edit for the GMB, then it will broke your app. Yes, that's true. But Google, it's smart enough. We tried to do it in the past when we tried to actually change the address for some of our competitors, but never worked. I mean, like you just change it, but it never get changed. So I think they go through many kind of like a different approval processes. Even they have got like a different, they have got a proper GMB review teams as well. So who go through this and then try to make it, but nah, it never worked for us. We did it in the past, but no. All right. So
Yeah, GMBs are targeted really, like Google really harsh when it comes to GMB. So we don't want to promote any black hat techniques in here, and
yeah.
because
So
somebody's going to come and grab our necks in a few weeks' time.
yeah. So
So
can we
not
get a link
ideal.
to the presentation? I
Yeah, I've
think.
just added the link to the group as well, and also to this chat. So yeah,
All right.
it's
So
there.
all right. How do you embed the directions map? So I've
Yeah,
already mentioned already that you need to go to basically on the left hand side, search for your GMB, and then go to the direction one, and then take the map embed from it via share button. So that's how we can do it. All right. So where do you grab the embed code? All right, we
yeah,
covered
it's
that.
the same one. So yeah.
All right, so GMB is best for now in my niche, generating a pretty good amount. One of the things I'm missing is adding more photos. Yes, definitely more photos and virtual tour, and the third one is adding more articles as well. So
Yeah.
GMB articles, what we can actually do is you can use some of the plugins like not the plugin, sorry, it's a social b what we use, but there are plenty of them available on Stack Social or AppSumo you can take. And then what they normally do is they just simply go and connect your GMB listings. You can always go and connect like different GMB listings as well, and it will go
Just
and
create them. Yeah.
yeah, you can just drip feed them on the fly. But there are plenty of services these days who can actually do it too. So yes, you should do it. I'm telling you, you're gonna see a lot of visits coming in from the Google Photos itself, because I don't know how, that's something a loophole what the Google algorithm has got, what's going on, but we have seen even our listings. So I'll tell you one of a listing which we don't really touch at all. So let's say if that's a one GMB listing, it's one of our offices one, but we never try to do it. So if I go up here, so where I can see the photos. It was somewhere up here. Virtual tour, you have to add it up here, but the photos part is when we go and check the views, photos. Yes, that's the one. And then see this one, 5.95K and 23 something. So there are plenty of views you can get it. And this is one of our dead listing. I've opened up my different accounts. So that's definitely you should do it if in case not. All right, so date for show my maps. Yes, my maps is so my maps, what we can do is my map is a good technique. And but the main problem what I've seen with the my maps is that it doesn't get crawled. And I used to do it a lot. We used to do it a lot, I mean, like, but it doesn't really get crawled too much now. So there is no purpose of doing it and getting it index on if the things hasn't got need to get index on Google. So in case the people who doesn't know what the my maps is let's say, so my map, it's been ages. I haven't gone to actually do it, but I can tell you from the theory how the my map actually work is. It's simply like I'm creating. Ravi wants to come to my place, let's say to my place, and what I'll do is I'll tell Ravi, okay, where you are at the moment. He's gonna say, all right, this is where I am. So I'm gonna go and create a map location from his location to my place. I can tell, all right, this is a shareable URL. Just go and keep following this URL, and you're gonna reach my place. So in short, as the name says, my map. So I'm creating a map for my purpose, and I'm gonna make it shareable, and I'll give it to Ravi, and Ravi gonna go and follow that map, and he'll come to my place. And this is what it is. But like I said, the problem is that the it doesn't get indexed. So if 1 out of 10 my maps I'm creating, because even creating my map, it takes like about like easily, if you're creating a detailed one where you are adding your photos, GMBs, sorry, all those GMBs kind of thing too, takes a lot of time. And if it doesn't get crawled, then it's bizarre. I mean, like, there's no benefit of that. Okay, so thanks for that. Kindly send the PPT link. Ravi has already mentioned the PP link, and then it's just a step by step. Yes, just follow this couple of slides, and you're gonna get an idea. All right, so
So I can show. I've got a.
okay,
Can I
so
share screen?
and is there any tool to manage any LTD, or tool we can manage GMB? So Ravi, I can just share. Yes.
Okay. So that's what it looks like. Am I right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a one.
Basically, you're creating driving directions from all across the city to your GMB location, and yeah, there's a SOP to do that, and there's a method. We can't go into that detail now, but that's what it should be looking like. And basically, you're trying to create driving directions from across the suburbs, and it potentially helps you to rank in those suburbs as well. It's an old technique. I don't think it's that effective anymore, but it's one of the things that helps along with other GMB techniques like your, G stacks and geo networks and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, that's true. And it's just like, again, the different ways to tell Google, all right, you want to come from this place to that place. Here I live, from A to B. This is where I live, and it just tells Google, get me ranked from everywhere. Everywhere I want to get ranked. So, yes, that's basically how we do it. But yeah, if there is anything else, we have already shared the PPT. We have already shared all the different kind of links and everything up here. And if there is anything which is missing, do let us know. And this is the last question: what is, do I need to create different GMBs for every keyword? No, you don't have to. Example, I'm ranking in pre-wedding. How to get ranked on wedding? All right. So this is the GMB has to be for your location, not for the keywords. If that makes sense. So it's for a location. But now, as you said, like if you are ranking for the pre-wedding, how you gonna get ranked for the wedding? That's where what I said, services. You need to start adding the services into it. You need to start adding the attributes into it. So attributes is basically free Wi-Fi, continental breakfast, Italian breakfast. These are the different ways when work together along with your website web pages, where you are already embedding your schema details, where you're already embedding your different. This is one of the reasons why we said the detailed level schema is so important, because it just passes on so much information rather than just one single piece of code. It just passes on so much information which the Google can actually read and start ranking you out for different keywords. But yes, you need to start adding all these kind of keywords in your pages. So if it's like a pre-wedding, if you have got a different page, that's a different story. But if you got like a simple page, then you need to add like all these different kind of keywords in your H1s, H2s kind of thing. And yes, do add the modifiers as well. So if your modifier is best, it can be top rated, it can be like something like it, I mean, like cheap, or that kind of saving kind of thing. Then you need to start adding that kind of modifiers as well. Then all these things actually mesh up together to give you the desired results which you really want. So it's
Yeah.
it's a bit of a work involved, to be
And
honest.
obviously, things like your post, when if you want to rank for wedding, you do lots and lots of posts. And when you are actually getting the reviews, you make sure you ask your clients to add the keyword in the review, and then you reply back to the review with the same keyword. So you're just trying to create signals after signals that, okay, he came and did a wedding shoot for me. And then you reply, yeah, we do a lot of wedding shoots, thank you for calling us for your wedding shoot and stuff like that. So you're just creating all those signals by doing post, getting reviews, and having those keywords in the reviews. You can actually write down the review and send it to the client with the URL and say, can you please post this review for me? And they'll be more than happy to do that, provided you did a good job. So yeah, there's a lot of tricks. I mean, just get creative. How can you
Exactly.
add keywords? Yeah.
So your attributes, your services, your web copies, your different signals, your GMB photos, your GMB articles as a post which you will adding, all these things has to be relevant. All these are the different kind of signals which you will send it to Google and gonna tell them that yes, I want to rank for these terms. Help me get ranked, and definitely you're gonna get the results out of it.
And not many people know there's a GMB website as well. You can create a website within the GMB. When we do GMB optimizations, we normally add like 1,000 words of content in that website. It's like a web page, and we stuff in keywords after keywords in there. So you can do that as well. So there's so many ways to do that.
Exactly right. But that's it, guys. That's all about it. Is there anything else you want to know? Just throw it in the comments, and we will answer them tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
And
it's 1 o'clock here, so I need to sleep.
yeah, true. And if there is anything else which you reckon can be a good contributor factor, just throw add your knowledge stuff into that too. So it's just a community. We
Yeah.
all help each other. If
And
you're
if you
just
want us to test something, we can test as well. We can start testing few things. Bring in your ideas.
exactly right, and try to contribute much with the community. A lot of people actually say like, "Oh, we don't get business." I mean, like we are freelancers, we don't get business. The best way I would say is Facebook groups are the gold mine. We have grown from the low bottom to high in the Facebook group. So you need to come out of your comfort zone and start interacting much in the Facebook groups if you really want to grow up and go to the next level. There's no fun of actually going and start running ads, going. Yes, I'm not really saying that it's bad. It's definitely good, but And that's one of a way that you want to get in front of your clients or someone too. But if
Yeah,
you're a freelancer, you've got a writing services, that kind of thing, just go and interact much in the group, add the value, because once you start gonna adding the value into the group gonna start giving back to you because they owe you. This is kind of a social currency we are sharing with each other. So when a person actually add a value, and the other person is joining our group, they are giving kind of a social currency to us, that this person will add a bit of more value to my knowledge. When we go and add the new members, or even the new members join any group, then this is how the things actually work. So it's more kind of a give and take relationship, guys. Don't just thinking like I should keep the
don't
knowledge of
feel
it.
shy. Yeah, we got
Yeah,
1,600 people in here, and I know there are only like 30 people who are super active. And we do get occasional comment from other people, but we just encourage everyone to, there's no such thing as asking a stupid question. Just ask the question, and the community is very helpful. Not in just this group. I mean, all the groups I work in or I look at, everyone's so helpful. And we'll be more than happy to promote you as well if you bring in value, and you bring in something special. I know there are few freelancers who work for me and they do a super good job, and I don't shy away from recommending their services whenever I see people asking for recommendations. So yeah, I mean, we,
exactly.
we just want to promote. You've joined this group, don't be a silent observer. Talk to everyone, ask questions, comment on things. Doesn't matter if it's the right or the wrong comment, nobody's going to ping you. Just be involved, be communicative, and that's the trick. And that's what, like Rohin said, we, like most of our digital assets, like Outreach Warrior, we built that website back in February, but we were making $100,000 a month before that, just by social interaction and just referral traffic and stuff like that. So it works. It definitely works. Go out and get engaged, get involved, talk to people, comment.
And yeah, if you really want get something the value out of it, I would really give us a favor and just invite your friends or so to join the group, guys. We know when we get any kind of invite to add in the group, we know like who has invited, because they usually, this is how the Facebook, they show it, who has invited this one. So yes, we know it's you, and we'll try all our level best to help you out too, if whenever you need us. And even if you need us, I'm like, just ping us, no problems at all. But yeah, just that's all I have to say.
Yep.
All right, so
Okay,
that's
we
all
wrap
about
it up.
it. Thanks for that, and thanks Ravi for your time. I know it's 1 o'clock
No
for you.
worries, mate.
You probably need to
It's
go
it's,
and get
it's
some
actually it's dot one. So yeah,
all right, thanks for
that's
that.
fine.
Bye, guys.
I
See ya.
sleep late anyways. All right, see you guys. Thank you.
See
Talk
ya.
soon.